protests in Buenos Aires against the government of Mauricio Macri. It is against a recent raise in the price of utility services, but also against the recent announcement of a request of financial help of the International Monetary Fund.
This cannot continue. The government has raised the prices of utility services as never before, and now an agreement with the IMF. We know what happens when we deal with the IMF. It has never ended well.
Most Argentines are shocked with the news that the government is seeking financial help from the International Monetary Fund, because it brings back memories of what happened 17 years ago when Argentina defaulted on its sovereign debt and entered one of the worst crises in this country's history. Many fear that an agreement with the IMF will result in harsher austerity measures that will hurt this country's most vulnerable.
Argentina is trying to cope with the devaluation of the peso currency and capital flight because of strengthening US dollar. It is affecting emerging markets, and especially a vulnerable country like Argentina that has been struggling with double-digit inflation rates and deficit for years.
We understand that these days people are upset, afraid that this situation will end up in a crisis like the ones we've seen in the past, or that it's going to stop the process of change that we are going through right now. We have a strong conviction that what we are doing will end up in development and growth that we've been waiting for years.
Macri says he's trying a gradual approach to reduce the deficit, but for many his announcement is like going back in time. Gabriel Rubinstein was part of the team that helped Argentina negotiate with the world after the crisis in 2001.
Argentina is being cautious with what is happening in the world and is trying to get ready if the situation gets worse. The government has a clear road, but it's not enough if your macroeconomy is not working. Macri said inflation was going to be 20% in 2016, and it was actually 40%. They did not believe that a rise in tariffs would worsen inflation.
Without credibility, Argentina is facing economic uncertainty once again. And while the government is asking for international help, on the streets, people are trying to make sure that economic austerity won't come at their expense. Teresa, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.